So today, let me show you how you can set up a Airtable to HubSpot integration in under 5 minutes. At the end of this demo, we will have a true two-way sync between contacts, companies, and deals. Basically, the 3 most important HubSpot objects, all done, all with no code, and I promise it'll be pretty simple. The way we're going to do this is using a tool called Whalesync. So Whalesync is a two-way sync tool, lets you sync apps like HubSpot, Airtable, others as well, like Notion, Sheets, Superbase. And the way we start with that is by hitting Create Sync. Now, a sync involves, as you might have guessed, 2 different apps. So here we'll connect to Airtable first. And as you might guess as well, we're just going to need to authorize it. I've set up a base here called HubSpot plus Airtable demo, just so you get a sense of it. We'll give access to that to Whalesync. And from here, we're going to come back to Whalesync, save that connection, and go through the same process with HubSpot. Similarly, I'm going to authorize it, and this time I'm going to give it access to my demo space. So pretty much a simple HubSpot account. It's got deals, it's got companies, it's got contacts, everything we need. We'll authorize there and save. So that was the pretty simple part, and I think you probably could have guessed how that works. From here, we're getting to the crux of it, which is table mapping. So each HubSpot object I just mentioned, contacts, companies, deals, is a table in Whalesync parlance. And in Whalesync, we're basically just going to map each of those tables to a table in Airtable. So here, I'm going to select, let's do contacts and companies and deals. I'm going to want to map those to a corresponding table in my Airtable. Now, I don't yet have a deals or contacts or companies table. If I did, it would be as simple as coming to Whalesync and just mapping those to each other, right? Done, easy. But in this case, just for the sake of this demo, I've come here, I haven't set it up yet. What is really, really nice about Whalesync is it can help you do that automatically. So here, instead of selecting one of our tables, like table 1, I'm going to click new table. I'll do the same for each of these. And from here, we'll just create on that button right there. And Whalesync will know to say, hey, that doesn't exist yet. You want a new table. So we'll create one for you. And it just is going to do that one at a time for each of those tables. So once this completes, I can hit continue. And we can pop over to Airtable just so you can see what happened here. But basically, Whalesync went ahead and automatically created a contacts, a companies, and a deals table. So now we're all set up to sync. I can delete my table 1. Don't really need that anymore. This will be a little cleaner, but we're good to go. Now, by default, as you again might have guessed, Whalesync just created one field for you, so you can have that table there and it exists. But presumably, you're going to want to sync a couple more fields. What's really, really nice is that Whalesync can also do the same thing for each individual field. So let's take contacts first, since we're here. Whalesync has already created and mapped that email field for us. We might want to do a couple other ones. So here, again, I can choose from existing fields, or I can have Whalesync create a new field for me. And so I'll have it copy fields from HubSpot. And let's do maybe like companies is a nice foreign key one. Let's do, how about deals? We'll do that. Maybe we like, close date. There's a good example there. We'll copy those fields. Whalesync, again, this is going to go through. It's going to create a couple of these fields for us. And in another minute or so, we can hop over to Airtable. We can see what Whalesync created. Now, this is really the crux of the entire process here, right? Whalesync creates fields in Airtable for you. It maps them automatically here for you to fields on HubSpot. And you can kind of go one by one and just map them yourself if you prefer to do things a little more manually. Now, let's go check out the Airtable side just so you can see that. And if we come over to contacts, you'll notice there are 3 fields right there. And as we continue setting up the sync, you'll see in a minute or two, records will fill out here with the data that we have mapped for each of these fields, which again is really, really awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same process for companies and deals just to bring over a couple more fields. We'll fast forward through this step, and then I'll take you through continuing and activating so you can see what this looks like as we set up the final sync. There we go. So having fast forwarded through that, you've got companies, you've got contacts, you've got deals. We have a handful of fields that are mapped. You'll notice here in the middle that these are two-way synced fields. So by default, everything that you set up in a sync with Whalesync is going to sync two-way, bidirectionally between Airtable and HubSpot. But you can always change that. So if you said, I only want to sync data from HubSpot into Airtable, you can just toggle like that. Now this table of companies will only flow one way. Alternatively, you can do that on the field level. So you can say, hey, I just want to map certain fields one way. Contacts, annual revenue, for example, I never want to overwrite in HubSpot. Great. For now, I'm going to leave as many as I can as two-way, and we should be pretty much good to go. Now, one other bit you can keep in mind here as you were doing this table mapping is filters. So when you're setting up this initial sync, you can come into things like deals and say, you know what, I only want to sync deals where the deal name, contains, hot or like enterprise, kind of be a better one, right? You can get pretty fancy here with conditions and condition groups, ors and ands and all that. For now, since we just have a couple records in our demo site, I'm just going to leave it without any filters, but filters are always there and available for you. Once this is all done, I'm going to hit save and continue, and Whalesync will let me go ahead and activate my sync. So I'll hit confirm here, and Whalesync will initialize. It's going to take about 30 seconds or so to basically just take a look at all the data that's in HubSpot in an Airtable. So you can see this here, it's listening, it's initializing, it's running a full scan. And as soon as Whalesync starts to recognize data in HubSpot, it will categorize that data and sync it into Airtable in the fields that we just defined. And there we go. So you can see records popping right in, and you can see again, all this action happening here. It's noticed records, it's syncing them across. As records sync from HubSpot into Airtable, you'll see them pop up in our operations tab. This is what keeps track of every single thing that Whalesync has done. So if you click into one of these, just as an example, you'll see that Whalesync created a record in Airtable. So source was HubSpot, destination was Airtable. It updated these fields, and all of this was in the companies table. So if we pop over to our Airtable again, and this time click over to companies, there it is. Boom. Pretty instantly, we've got data flowing in here. And you can see what's even cooler than that is we've got foreign keys being filled in as well. So aside from just sort of text-based data or dates, right, like you see here, one of the powerful things about Whalesync is it handles foreign key relationships, or what HubSpot calls associations, or what Airtable calls linked records, right? These are all kind of different words for the same thing, but it handles it for you. And so not only can you get a list of companies or a list of contacts, but you can see the relationship between the two. So we now know here are people, right, contacts in our HubSpot that belong to this fake company called SyncWhale, right? And same idea with deals, right? If I'm looking at a deal in HubSpot here, like my new deal 9X, right? This is associated with a contact called Alex, right? So I have now all of the information that I would need to actually take action on this, right? It's not just about analytics. It is literally a copy of what's in HubSpot in my Airtable. And as soon as Whalesync is done with its initial sync, which will be another minute or two, you will have this true two-way sync, right? So you have updates here going back the other way from Airtable and HubSpot as necessary, right? And if I make an update to Airtable, so if I make a change here or I create a new record, it's going to flow back the other way to Airtable. Again, only as much as you want. Two-way sync where you want it, one-way sync where you don't. Additionally, once you've set up your sync with Whalesync, you get to take advantage of something called issues. So aside from actually just having your data constantly in sync all the time, you have a place here with issues that will tell you if something goes wrong. So if, for example, HubSpot rejects a record, says, hey, I can't accept this from Airtable, or Airtable's connection fails, right? Anything like that. If a record can't be synced, it will pop up on this issues page and it'll tell you why. And you can use our AI to help deduce what you should do next. Altogether, what this means is that with a Whalesync two-way sync, you not only get your data shared across your apps, so you're not constantly having to wade through a series of operations or API calls or code to actually get this data in sync. So that's a quick overview of Whalesync, how you can set up a two-way sync between Airtable and HubSpot in just a couple of minutes. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll help you get set up.